I'm the chairman of the Budget Committee. My name is John McDonald. Tonight's agenda includes call to order, Pledge of Allegiance, public comment, discussion items, which will include rules of procedure, CIP committee report, department assigned members reports, the 2025 financial report, town manager's report, chair comments, other business, and then we're going to approve the minutes of August 18th, 2025, and then we'll again have public comment, and then we'll do an adjournment. If you could, everyone please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Bob Mulholland, could you?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the
United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, everyone. I'm going to open a public comment, but before I do that, there were some misconceptions that I saw on Facebook and also some comments from other people that RSA 541-A applies to the Budget Committee. And I just want to let everyone know that it does not apply to the Budget Committee. And who would like to do public comments?
Bobby Budman, Wolfeboro. I am rising here in public comment and leaving my seat on the board to discuss one section that we'll be going over this evening for public comment. So before public comment is taken away, I'd like to comment on public comment. Right now, as it stands, any member in our community can come and they can have redress of the board or bring concerns to the board. As it stands, what we will be voting on this evening in our rules and procedures, that public comment was changed to 3 minutes per person with 15 minutes total. That only allows for 5 people. Also in our discussion at our last meeting, the chair and other people mentioned that at any point, the chair would have the discretion to end public comment if he felt that there was a non-germane discussion happening. Non-germane or not, I believe the people have the right. We are elected officials. And I just want to comment on our New Hampshire Bill of Rights, Section 17. The Bill of Rights was passed in 1783, October 31st. Bill of Rights, Article 17, the people have the right in an orderly and peaceable manner to assemble and consult upon the common good, give instructions to their representatives, and to request that the legislative body, by way of petition or remonstrance, redress the wrongs done to them and of the grievances they suffer. Also, Article 8 clearly states all power residing originally in and being derived from the people, all the magistrates and officers of government are their substitutes and agents, and at all times are accountable to them. I would hope this board would keep our public comment open. I would hope that we don't put guidelines on the people to stop a dialogue between us and the very people who elected us. I will comment that we did receive notes from our town public council, and in those notes, Nathan Fennessy, our town council, did say, is the intent to limit to just 5 people who may comment at 3 minutes max? I am not sure that restriction will be viewed favorably if it is the impact of limiting the number of citizens that may comment. I can see there are more than 5 people in this room. I would hope that we would all give them the respect to listen to them. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Budman. Anyone else?
Just as an aside, I don't know what that RSA was that you referred to.
Okay, can you just state your name, ma'am?
I'm sorry. My name is Gogi Milner. I live here in Wolfeboro. I've lived here for 40.
Would you like me to answer your question for you?
Thank you. I will.
Okay. There was a Facebook post that made reference to RSA 541-A. I'm not going to identify who posted it, but I don't make decisions solely based on what John McDonald thinks. I do research and I contact attorneys and everyone else.
Can you tell me what it is?
I'm
What
going to
is-
explain it to you, ma'am.
Okay.
This particular one, I contacted the attorney with the New Hampshire Municipal Association and asked for some guidance, and I'll read you his response. Hello, John. Pursuant to our conversation, here's a summary of the advice which was provided. RSA 541-A applies to state agencies, not local budget committees. RSA 541-A1 provides definitions for all the terms used in the statute. A quick look at the statute shows that all the entities defined in this section of the statute are state entities, not local ones. For example, here is how an agency is defined. Agency means any state board, commission, department, institution, officer, or any other state official or group other than the legislation of the courts authorized by law to make rules or to determine contested cases. RSA 541-A:3 is a statute for rulemaking and it begins by saying, except for interim emergency rules or an agency should adopt by a rule. Therefore, by definition, these provisions only apply to state agencies. And this information is from Jonathan E. Cowell, Legal Service Counsel. He's an attorney for the New Hampshire Municipal Association. Thank you. I hope that answered your question.
That does not answer my question. I still do not know why the RSA came up and why you were questioning it and why you needed counseling on it. But that is not why I came here today. I came here to take part in the public input because, like everybody else in Wolfeboro, we just all got our property values reassessed and our taxes are probably going to increase. I'm concerned about the effect that the school vouchers are going to have on the costs of funding our public schools and the resulting increases to our real estate taxes to cover those lost state funds as well as the vouchers. We have on our Wolfeboro Budget Committee, John McDonald, you're the chairman. You are also our state rep. And I would hope you would be representing Wolfeboro when you are and considering what things you're voting on and how they're going to affect us financially. All three of our state reps voted in favor of the vouchers and many other harmful things, which are subsidizing tuition payments to private and religious schools. I think there's a conflict of interest between voting in Concord for bills that reduce state funding to our public schools and serving on our town budget committee. The increase in our real estate taxes are going to affect every single citizen that you represent. Our taxes keep going up, and this time we're subsidizing students who have already opted out of the public school to attend private schools. This puts an unfair burden on our taxpayers and reduces the funds available to our public schools and our public school students. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Would it be possible for us to get a copy of that for our records? Thank you. Thank you. Anyone else?
Hi, I'm Karen Burnett-Curie. I live here in Wolfeboro. I will say it's a little difficult to understand. So far, we've only heard from John, so I don't know if it's the microphones or the enunciation taking place, but I can say when I watch the tapes online, it's also difficult to understand. So if I'm not enunciating clearly, please point it out to me because I want people to understand. I think it's critical that we all know what you're saying and also what we're saying. Secondly, I'm here to talk about public input as well. I think we can all agree that we want our town budget to pass this year. I'm going to assume that. And given that assumption, I have to believe that we can all agree that we need to know what the public thinks, because somehow there's been a disconnect, or at least I translate it into a disconnect between what has happened in the last 2 years with the vote on our town budget and what the town budget committee thinks is necessary and what the town voters think is necessary. I don't know what that disconnect is. I'm not going to present myself as being in the know about that. I'm simply going to say that I really want to try and figure out how to close that gap and produce a better outcome for everybody. I think very few citizens want to see the loss of many services, and yet at the same time, many citizens want to see a responsible budget. So there's somehow a sense that those two are not matching. And to that end of creating a better end result, I do not think that it benefits the town, the budget committee, or the citizens to reduce the opportunity to hear from and provide public input. And I say that in the context of amount of time, because not everybody is short-winded, and I would be an example of that. So, you know, I don't think that cutting people off is a method of creating anything less than a more controlled environment for the committee, not for the public input. Secondly of all, I think it's important to have an opportunity at the beginning and end of the meeting. Not everybody can be here at 6 o'clock based upon their work schedule or their childcare pickup or whatever, and I think the amount of flexibility for providing input is essential in order to give an opportunity. I'm not saying you're going to get overwhelmed with it, but opening the window for an opportunity for as much public input as possible. Again, I think that public input, not all of it, but a lot of it should reveal some issues that will hopefully be able to be addressed so that the budget will pass, which I think is all of our goals. And so to that end, I think having as public input at the beginning, the end, and not limiting the number of people or the amount of time. And I'm sympathetic to the fact that meetings shouldn't go on until the wee hours of the morning, and that you all have lives, and that needs to be taken into account. But it shouldn't be at the sacrifice of public input. And no, I don't have it written down. So no, I can't provide it to you in writing.
That's okay. Thank you for your input. Anyone else?
Good evening. My name is Charlene Seibel. I live in Wolfeboro. As you can see, I have no notes. I am here to speak specifically to the proposal to limit public input. I realize that Mr. Deshays, I will say you are correct. There's nothing in 91A that guarantees any kind of public input to be allowed. I will also point out that in 2022, there was an amendment that passed. I can't remember which RSA the amendment attached to was, but it required school boards to extend their amount of public input. And so one point I would like to make is that having served on the regional school board for 22 years, it was always my personal opinion that it was beneficial to the community as well as to the board to provide as much input from the citizenry as possible, realizing that you all have jobs to do. I would like to say that the fact that the budget has failed 2 years in a row, and that there are a lot of citizens who are very knowledgeable on such subjects that can bring a lot of informed information to the budget committee. I would think you would want to seek that input. I'm also very troubled by the fact that in this day and time, we've seen at the national and state level multiple attempts to silence dissent and to not allow the citizenry at whose pleasure you all serve as elected officials would somehow be finding its way to our local level. I would like to think that For example, as Ms. Milner referenced, the fact that we've just recently had a new assessment, and yes, I'm one of the people who is going to be contacting the office who was in charge of that, because there is no way a less than 1/4 landlocked acre lot that's been grandfathered is worth $100,000. So, you know, I realize that this is not the place for me to have that addressed specifically, but I would like to urge all of you to to do something that is not only politically important and a sacred right, the First Amendment right. I would also like to point out that to make a decision to deliberately limit public input to basically no more than 3 people, more than 5 people at 3 minutes each, solely ruled at the discretion of the chair, would be really, really bad optics, especially given everything else that's going on in the town of Wolfeboro and the fact that you've had 2 different budgets now fail. So in the interest of trying to regain some public confidence in the process and in the boards, I would hope that you would not try to stifle input from the people who elected you. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Seibel. Anybody else? Any other public comment? Okay, I want to thank everyone for the comments. And, excuse me, Mr. Johnson?
Yeah, I got one. I got a couple. Steve Johnson, I live in Wolfeboro. I've been a budget committee member for multiple times. And the work that the budget committee does is exhausting. It's time consuming. And in years past, I'm sure this year, we have always welcomed on any given budget, on any given, whether it's public safety or whatever it is, input on every line item that we go through line by line. So the opportunity has always, always, always been there for the public to speak and express an opinion on the numbers, because this is all about numbers. I think the budget failed because we didn't do the numbers right. Not us, because we're just the board that kind of works with the selectmen and the town manager. So I think that part of the reason it failed was because it seemed to take a jump so much. But again, I'm speaking only as an opinion. Other people have their own opinions. So how to rectify that situation is, again, as we have always done, we've always invited the public to comment on line items and budgets as we go through the whole budget process. And that's weeks of examination and critically examining, can we reduce? Do we need to input more capital into something? And so it's a very thorough process that starts with the selectmen and then is reviewed by the town manager, and then we get a chance at it. So the process is good. I think what it sounds like to me is there are other things coming into play here that we're trying to limit just how long we discuss a certain item and an item that may or may not be on the agenda or on the budget at that given moment. So I think everyone can agree that public input is welcome. Many times we've all sat here in the past with nobody in the public that wanted or would say anything. So we'd love to have more public input, but again, public input that's germane to the budget and to the numbers and not necessarily extended, long-winded kind of opinionating. So that's it for me, and good job, guys. It's a hard job that you do.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson. I want to thank everyone for the public input tonight and the committee taken into consideration. And what I'd like to do now is, one other thing, the schedule for the Budget Committee is posted on the town webpage, and I welcome anyone that spoke tonight to please come to each meeting and see the budget process, so hopefully you'll get a better understanding and also be supportive of it. Okay, let's go down the agenda. I'd like to make a motion to move up on discussion items number 4 to rules of procedure. Is it second? Seconded by Mr. Bell. Leanne, can you please do a roll call vote? To bring up rules of procedure as the next discussion item. Mr. Bell did. Tom Bell?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So everyone should have received a corrected copy of our procedures,
He's skipping this and going right to that.
our proposed procedures for the Budget Committee to operate under. And most of the folks here, I believe, are here for the what we've decided to do on the, or what we're considering doing on the amount of time that the Budget Committee would like to spend, total time of 15 minutes for each public comment period. And I guess I'll open that up for discussion.
John?
Yes, Suzanne?
Okay. Of note, our agendas always have had, and tonight's does have, public comment in 2 locations. It's after the Pledge of Allegiance, as you just did, public comment, and at the end, after you've had full discussion on the business at hand, you offer public comment at the end before adjournment. The rules of procedure in August of this year had 3 minutes per person, and I think the discussion primarily was in total how many minutes, and Charlene's correct, that would be 5 people. But it also says, or at the chairman's discretion. So it isn't that we're saying you can't comment. And I'll remind you, as a comparison, at the deliberative session of town meeting, if we don't like the rules of the moderator, or he says enough discussion, we make a motion to overrule the moderator. So you all can do the same thing. You could say, I would like a vote of the board to overrule the chairman because I think we should give this person 20 minutes. So it's not, you're not being shut down. And it's no different than the Board of Selectmen. And some of you out there know, for the last 20 years, I go to the Selectmen's meeting almost every night with something to say. And I've never been shut down, and I've gone over 3 minutes. So I don't see that this board is going to do anything different. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Ryan. Barry, Mrs. Budman?
So, Suzanne, I just think that we should put it in this is our first draft. This is the first time we've ever had rules of procedure. So wouldn't it make sense to just put it in our rules of procedure correctly than have to expect the public to stand up? It's very scary to stand up, but then to have to stand up and fight for your right to speak. Why don't we just go ahead, and I'd like to make a motion just to get rid of the 15-minute total and change it or more at the chair's discretion with a vote of the committee, because then you have a whole committee voting on whether we extend this.
Okay, could you just repeat your motion, please?
I'd like to make a motion that we take out the 15-minute total and instead change it to or more at the chair's discretion with a vote of the committee.
Is there a second? Seeing none, the motion fails. Any further discussion?
John, so
Mr. DeShays?
I wanted to clarify something too. State RSA does not require public input. That being said, the town of Wolfeboro has always done it for every single one of their boards, any one of their committees. School board does it. This board does it twice. The select board does it twice. We do 3 minutes per person, 15 minutes total. We've always done that. However, we allow 15 minutes total or more at the chair's discretion, and the chair's job is to keep the meeting focused on the discussions at hand. Because people come to these meetings for discussions about specific items, and they want to be able to speak themselves, and they want to focus on those items. So at the select board, we allow people to speak above that 15-minute total with the chair's discretion and an affirmation by the select board. So I would like to see other boards in town follow the same process so that when people go to meetings, they understand what is going to happen at each meeting, and it's universal. And by the way, to speak into the mic, you just got to get close and talk loud. And then it is something that you can hear.
Thank you, Mr. DeShays. Any other comments?
Yes,
Yes, Mr.
Bob
Loman.
Lowen. Mr. DeShays, so the procedure with the select board is what? Could you redefine that, please?
We do 3 minutes per person, 15 minutes in total. But if we are running over because there is a lot of individuals that want to speak on a certain subject, the chair has the discretion to, with the approval of the board, to allow public input to continue.
I would move that procedure,
As it's written?
as he described it, exactly what the selectmen do. I see no reason why we should be any different from any other board in the town, and I think the select board have a proper procedure, and therefore we should have that same procedure.
Is it different than what we have proposed here?
Essentially, that would just, what you're looking to do is just add a vote of the board, in support of the chair's decision. If the chairman decides to cut off the discussion, then the entire board should vote on that, either yea or nay.
If that's what the select board does the select board actually vote on it?
We get an affirmation. So the chair will look at the other board members and say, do you want to continue public input? And the board either says yes or no. And we always say yes, because I don't remember us ever saying no to make it so someone couldn't speak their mind in our meeting.
So can I clarify that? I'll just make a motion to add, or at the chair's discretion, and or at a vote of the committee. So we get to overrule the chair. That's all.
Can I ask Brian, is it a vote of the
Yeah, it's a vote.
No, I'm asking Brian, is it a vote
Yeah,
of the
it's generally just an informal affirmation.
Exactly.
If it runs over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you want a roll call or anything like that? It could just be a nod of the head?
Yes, that's what we do. Usually the chair says, is there any objection if we continue public input? And the board usually says no, or always says no, no continue. The only time would be if something becomes unruly or disorderly and the meeting has to be paused for a specific reason. That's the only time we've ever had to shut down public input.
Thank you, Mr. DeShays. That's your motion, Suzanne?
Yeah, just to add after the total of 15 minutes or at the chair's discretion and or at a vote of the committee. It allows us to overrule you.
Mrs. Butler, did you have something to say?
I just wanted to reiterate what we all received from town council when town council stated in our packet. Nathan Fennessy stated, is the intent to limit to just 5 people who may comment at 3 minutes max. I am not sure that restriction will be viewed favorably if it is the impact of limiting the number of citizens that may comment. Just wanted to reiterate that.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
there's a motion on the floor.
We're in discussion mode right now. Yes, Mr. Bell.
I still would like a rationale for why this committee should be different than what the select board does.
I believe at this time, the motion is to basically mirror the Board of Selectmen's public input policy.
They don't
That was
do a
the
vote.
intent.
Yeah.
Does the select board do a vote or not?
We do not.
Thank you.
Well, I believe you do if there's an overrun of time and there's a long line of people, you would take a vote. Shall we continue to have discussion?
Deliberative session.
That's all. It happens once in a while.
Yeah, but it's never,
It's part of your rules.
yeah, it's part of our rules. It's not a motion with a raised hand vote. The chair pulls the select board.
It's a consensus.
Correct. There's a consensus from the board. The chair asks the board, do we want to continue public input?
Okay.
And we say yes.
That'll get it done.
Okay, so my friend here has a suggestion that I amend my motion to say, or per a consensus of the committee. So he'd just go, is everybody in agreement, we extend the time?
Again, why should this board be different than what the select board's rules and procedures are?
You're splitting hairs. You want to use the word consensus or vote. Either way, it gets us there.
Consensus is consensus. I've been on Quaker boards for about 20 years. I know consensus. So why do you need the vote or consensus stated when you can just do it at the time?
Are you not in favor of having this step that we can overrule the chair? Is that why you're having difficulty with the adjective that I'm using?
No, I've never seen this chair.
No, I know, but okay, I'm done.
Mr. Chair,
You got a motion and get a second.
Is that Mr. Brown?
yeah, I have a couple of points, if I may.
Okay.
So I would not agree with that motion. That does not match what the current Board of Selectmen is. It's the way that we have it written now matches what the selectmen have in their proceedings. Also, I don't think that I've ever personally seen the current chair or any other chair limit the length of public comment.
Point of order, Chair. Point of order, Chair. That's a violation of 91A that we have not let the citizens understand who's speaking right now.
Can you repeat your question, Justin?
Identify himself.
I'm Justin. I'm on the Budget Committee.
He's
The
remote.
intent is more for planning purposes. They have a scheduled total of 30 minutes on the agenda for people to come speak at the beginning and at the end. If that's a 2-hour planned meeting, that's 25% of the meeting. If it's a planned 3-hour meeting, that's roughly 17% of the meeting. Furthermore, I don't think that the chair has ever limited anybody. Nobody has ever had to fight to be heard. And finally, the purpose of the chair is to preside over the meeting, and which I believe includes choosing if the public discussion is germane or not. Obviously, we put faith in the chair when we put that person in a chair that they're going to do the right thing. And if there is a germane, productive presentation by the public, then I believe that person would allow it to continue and not cut it off, unreasonably so, just because it plans for 15 minutes.
Thank you, Justin. Justin Brown, he's a member of the Budget Committee, and he's also been granted permission to attend this meeting remotely. Thank you for your comments, Justin. Okay, anyone else? Bobby, you have anything? I just want to mention something. I don't think I've ever told anybody to be quiet during a public comment. In fact, in my whole history of being on the Budget Committee, I cannot recall any chairman stopping anyone from giving comments. I just want to add something. I also contacted the New Hampshire Municipal Association concerning public comments, and this is a follow-up to what they told me. When it comes to allowing public comment, the public is allowed to speak at public hearings or at public meetings if you choose to give them that option. When providing for public comment, it is always a good idea to adopt rules governing public comment. These rules can govern the time, place, and manner of comments, but not the content, as this could cause a First Amendment issue. Therefore, you may adopt rules that limit the number of people allowed to speak, total time allowed for comments, per speaker time limits, procedures required to sign up to speak. What you cannot do is implement rules that require positive comments only, and you cannot, no vulgarity, etc. And this is from Jonathan E. Cowell, attorney for the New Hampshire Municipal Association. You have any more comments? Seeing none, Leanne, could you read the motion, please?
Oh, I made a motion.
Yeah. I asked Leanne to read it.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Excuse me, Bobby, can you loan her your microphone? Thank you.
Sorry. It was moved by Suzanne to amend, actually I gotta find what section. Section 6, conduct of meetings. C, order of business or agenda. It would be public comment 3 and 8. To add and/or consensus of the committee. There was no second, so we need a second.
I think, Bob, you seconded that, didn't you? Yes. Yeah, Bob Lohman.
Okay, I didn't hear, I'm sorry.
Okay, does everyone understand the motion? Any other questions concerning the motion?
Yes.
Yes.
So I think Suzanne amended her motion to say consensus, but what she said was 15 minutes total or more at the chair's discretion with the consensus, or with, how did you word that?
And
or with the consensus of the committee. So that's the full motion that she put in, because she put in her motion once, and then she amended her motion to change vote to consensus.
Correct.
Leanne, can you make those corrections?
Yes, it was an amendment, so
Thank
I
you.
read the amendment. Yes.
Any other questions?
Just a quick comment, just to echo what has been said before, is that in all my years on this committee, I've never known the chair of the committee or any other member to stifle a public comment. And if anything, we encourage more public comment. It's like the one commenter said earlier, is we want to pass the budget. It's kind of an embarrassment on us, or a reflection, or we feel that it's a reflection, although there's many factors that involved in the budget, that are involved in the failure of the budget. But so any public comment that we can get is helpful to us. We may not always agree with what's said, but it's encouraging to know, or it's helpful to know what the thoughts are out there. I've never known this to be an issue, and many years sitting on this board, so I like to think that we're all intelligent people and considerate people, and if we don't necessarily agree with the chairperson's decision to cut off public comment, we can probably take a vote, make a motion, take a vote to continue it. So,
John, one more.
9 people here, so.
Thank you, Mr. Black. Mr. DeShays.
And I applaud the citizens for being here for this. And please do not take this the wrong way. But I've been on the Budget Committee for 4 years, and there have been 10, 12 meetings in a row, multiple times, where we did not have one citizen show up at our meetings and no one speak for public comment. And that hurt my heart, because I want to see the public come out and discuss these things with us on a regular basis. So I applaud everybody who's here to protect their rights to speak. And I would hope that they come and give us input for everything that happens during this budget process.
Thank you, Mr. DeShays. Anyone else?
Yes.
Call the vote, Mr. Chair.
One quick comment. I would also adhere to what Brian has said. Nobody shows up at the individual review meetings. Nobody from the public. And yet here we are with 10 or 12, 20, 15, 20 people at the behest of someone on this committee to argue about the fact that the Budget Committee may be stultifying public comment. Nothing could be further from the truth. We have invited public comment for years and got nothing until it gets down to the deliberative session, which by then is a little bit too late to begin to discuss the building of the budget to get to that point. So if you are really concerned about public input, genuinely concerned, come to every one of the review sessions. All of you. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Lohman. Anyone else? Seeing none, Leanne, can you please do a roll call vote?
Brian DeShays,
Yes.
Suzanne Ryan,
Yes, with a comment. These rules of procedure for the order of business.
Suzanne, we're in the voting mode now.
Okay, all right.
Just vote.
Yes.
Bob Lohman,
Yes.
John McDonald,
Yes.
Brian Black,
Yes.
Tom Bell,
Yes.
Harold Parker. Bob Mulholland,
Yes.
Bobby Budman,
Yes.
and Justin Brown, remote. Justin Brown?
No.
So, 8-2-0.
One more
Passes.
time on the vote, please.
8-2-0 passes.
Thank you.
Could I just comment?
Yes, go ahead, Suzanne.
Just so the public understands, there's a difference between a public meeting and a public hearing. A public hearing is authorized by state statute and how it's supposed to be posted in so many days and so forth. A public meeting is a regular meeting like we're having tonight. It's just a normal work meeting, and in our rules of procedure, it says order of business on the agenda. The order of business for regular meetings shall generally be as follows, and then there's the 2 public comments. So I think what we had here was a tempest in a teapot.
Thank you. Can we move on now?
Mr. Chair, can I make
Yes,
a comment? Is there a way that we can go through our rules of procedure in order instead of skipping around? It would be great to start on page 1 and go through, because we just skipped up to page 5.
We will do that, and the only stipulation is we're just going to talk about the ones that the attorney has commented on. All the other ones have been addressed previously.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, the first one is section 1. The attorney made some comments concerning the incorrect, I guess, the wanted to update the current version. It was adopted in 1993. We had Article 18 in March of 1935. Does anyone have any questions or concerns with that change? Seeing none, we'll move on.
Excuse me, Mr. Chair. Do we need to vote on this, make a motion and vote on this? Because this wasn't originally in the first rules of procedure. This would be a change to the document.
What will happen is once we make the changes, it'll go back to the attorney for his final review, and he'll sign off on it, and then we'll have a meeting to vote on the whole thing.
So we don't need a vote to change this, though, because currently we voted on this last rule to be written that way. Do we need?
If you would feel more comfortable by voting on that, that's fine.
It's a question.
Okay, I'll do a motion to change the reference to Article 18 in March 1935 to 1993. Is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, Leanne, will you do a roll call vote, please?
Brian DeShay.
Yes.
Suzanne Ryan.
Yes.
Bob Lohman.
Yes.
John McDonald.
Yes.
Brian Black.
Yes.
Tom Bell. Harold Parker.
No.
Bob Mulholland.
Yes.
Bobby Budman.
Yes.
And Justin Brown, remote.
Yes.
Okay, so
Thank
910 pass.
Next one is membership. We have the section, the select board designee votes based on the best interests of the town and not the designee's personal preference. The comment is from the attorney, this is a strange provision. I don't know what the intent here is. I don't agree with him changing that. I think it's always responsibility of whoever the select board representative is to always vote in the best interest of the town. Any other comments?
I think the question is to define what's the best interest of the town. I think that makes it, I think the town attorney looked at it and was, what does that mean? Do you know what I mean? So, I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay.
So what would you like to change it to? Since you're the selectman.
Yeah, the purpose is represents the select board. Just scratch that line.
Okay.
Point of order, Chair. Mr. DeShays, were you on the vote when I tried to restrict that in the last meeting, just to make sure that you aren't asking for a motion to get rid of it after you've already voted on the losing side of that sentence? At the end of the last meeting, I had asked to restrict that sentence, and I'm not sure if I
voted no for any strict restrictions against my voting rights during the entire process.
I believe that when I made a motion to restrict that, I believe you voted along with me, and the board had voted down restricting that sentence. So we need to make sure, because I'm not sure you can make that motion. You may have been on the losing side.
Okay, the motion, we don't have any second to Brian's motion.
We can make it.
Seeing none, the motion fails.
What's the motion, to add that?
He wanted to strike the select board
Strike it?
designee votes based on the best interests of the town and not the designee's personal preference.
Mr. Chairman, I wasn't here at the last meeting. I did not vote on this issue. I will adopt Mr. Duchesne's point of view and make a motion.
Okay?
I'm adopting Brian's motion as my own because I was not here at the last meeting. So I have no conflict of interest, no point of order, and, I want to have it voted on.
I'll second that.
Leanne, did you get the motion?
Sorry, Leanne.
Yes, I got it. To strike the last sentence.
Any further discussion? Now, Mr. Parker's motion. Seeing none, Leanne, will you please read the motion, please?
Yeah. You mean roll call? You mean? Not read the motion? Oh, you want me to read the motion?
Yes, please, so everyone knows what we're voting on.
Okay. It was moved by Harold Parker, seconded by Tom Bell, to strike the last sentence, which reads, last sentence of section 3, organization A membership, number 2, which reads, the select board designee votes based on the best interest of the town and not the designee's personal preference.
Does everyone understand the motion? Okay, Leanne, please, a roll call.
Okay. Brian DeShays.
Yes.
Suzanne Ryan.
Yes.
Bob Lohman.
Yes.
John McDonald.
Yes.
Brian Black.
Yes.
Tom Bell.
Yes.
Harold Parker. Bob Mulholland.
Yes.
Bobby Budman.
Yes.
And Justin Brown, remote.
Yes.
10-0-0 passes.
Okay, that motion passes, so that last sentence is struck. The next one, he makes comments about the chairperson and vice chairperson shall be conducted at the first regularly scheduled meeting. That's about nominations. He mentions, are the chair and vice chair the only officers, which is yes. Should we use the terms rather than adding in officers? I think we have the terms chairperson and vice chairperson. Anyone else need a change to that? Okay. I'll do a motion to adopt B1 as written.
So moved.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, Leander, roll call vote, please.
Brian DeShays.
Yes.
Suzanne Ryan.
Yes.
Bob Lohman.
Yes.
John McDonald.
Yes.
Brian Black.
Yes.
Tom Bell.
Yes.
Harold Parker.
Yeah.
Bob Mulholland.
Yes.
Bobby Budman.
Yes.
And Justin Brown, remote.
Yes.
10-0-0 passes.
Okay, next one is section 4, vacancies. I do a motion to strike, number 1, the Budget Committee is not required to fill any vacancy. However, if the committee votes to fill a vacancy, that has occurred. Strike the first line and have it start, all vacancies shall be filled in accordance with RSA 3215. Okay, the motion that I just made is to strike, the Budget Committee is not required to fill any vacancy. However, if the committee votes to fill a vacancy, that has occurred, and strike that line, and it'll start out, all vacancies shall be filled in accordance with RSA 3215.
Second.
Okay, any further discussion? Seeing none, roll call vote, please, Leanne.
Brian DeShays.
Yes.
Suzanne Ryan.
Yes.
Bob Lohman.
Yes.
John McDonald.
Yes.
Brian Black.
Yes.
Tom Bell.
Yes.
Harold Parker. Bob Mulholland.
Yes.
Bobby Budman.
Yes.
And Justin Brown, remote.
Yes.
10-0-0.
Okay, that's the only change on that one. Next page, the attorney is not recommending any changes. Next page, the attorney is not recommending any changes. Any changes?
Point of order, Chair.
Yes.
There's a line added in on page 3. It's in red where it says members may serve on the committees or other subcommittees. There's a section in red added there that we had not had in our prior notes. So long as they comply with eligibility requirements of RSA 3215V. That was not in prior discussions.
In interest of clarification, could you please define the section you're talking about?
On page 3, number 6.
Not page 3. Give us the section number, please.
We are under officers.
Section 5,
Is that what we're under? There you go.
Section 5?
Number
Section 5,
6.
what starts on 2, goes over to 3, 6. Members that serve on citizens
What
committees.
subsection? 5 what?
Section 5,
What subsection?
number 6.
6.
Members may serve on citizen committees or other subcommittees so long as they comply with the eligibility requirements of RSA 32:15V.
What's your point, Bobby?
That wasn't in our prior documents. That was just added without a vote or without any of us putting it in there. So somewhere along the way, someone added that.
32.
That was the attorney who added that language in
Okay.
as a bulleted item.
I'm sorry, Jim, we couldn't hear you.
I'm sorry. That was the attorney who added that RSA provision in.
Okay, thank you. He didn't put a note on the side that he had added that. I appreciate that. Does anyone have any concerns about that, Section 6, with the addition of the comply with the eligibility requirements of RSA 32:15V?
Well, I believe we have to make a motion to add it.
Now, I could be wrong, but my original document says RSA 32. I think the attorney added :15V, I think, to be more specific. I could be right, I could be wrong.
So you have RSA 32:15 on the original document?
I have, the one I see
What is it?
is RSA 32.
Part of the budget law.
I think the attorney just clarified RSA 32:15V. I could be wrong, but that's what I thought happened.
Can somebody read what 32:15V is?
So between our last document, it said members may serve on citizen committees or other subcommittees. And now the document we received today has added in, so long as they comply with eligibility requirements of RSA 32:15V from the first document.
Not the end of the world.
The question was, what does RSA 32, with all of its additions, state?
So I've read it before. If I can remember correctly, what it does is it specifies what boards a member can sit on with elections and whatnot. You can only sit on certain boards.
He's got it.
No selectman, town manager, member of the school board, village district commissioner, full-time employee, or part-time department head of the town, school district, or village district, or other associated agencies shall serve as a member at large. Every member at large shall be domiciled in the town or district adopting this subdivision and shall cease to hold office immediately upon ceasing to be so domiciled.
Thank you, Mr. Pinio. Okay, I'll do a motion to adopt number 6. Members may serve on the citizen committee or the subcommittee so long as they comply with the eligibility requirements of RSA 32:15, Is there a second?
Motion on the table for a while now.
What's that?
You've had that motion on the table for.
Well, I guess we better take a vote on it then. Any further discussion? Seeing none, roll call vote, please, Leanne.
Yep. Brian DeShays?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Bob
Yes.
Holman? John McDonald?
Yes.
Brian Black?
Yes.
Tom Bell?
Yes.
Harold Parker? Bob
Yes.
Mulholland? Bobby Budman?
Yes.
And Justin Brown?
Yes.
Remote.
Okay, let's move on. Next page is
So-
the... Yes, Bobby?
Number 8, in that same section, the annual report, we actually changed it to by the chair or the designated agent, and now it says activities for the fiscal year at the direction of the executive assistant. So we would have to make a motion to change that, the direction of the executive assistant, because last meeting we said by the chair or designated agent.
Number 8.
One more time on the number, please. What number paragraph?
Just going down to number 8. We were on number 6. Number 8, in our last meeting, we changed it to by the chair or designated agent. Yet on the document, the new document, it says at the discretion of the executive assistant.
Thank you. Leon, in this document, does this have all the updated information that you reported as the minutes or whatever?
I took it from the minutes, so in other words, the minutes, we haven't corrected the minutes, so I'm assuming the minutes are going to be amended to reflect this.
Or we should, if someone can check before we amend it, if we should just check the videotape of it to make, I could be wrong. I mean, the discussion went on, so I'm not.
Okay.
Do you want to make a motion concerning that change, or do you want to move on and we'll come back to it after we do the minutes?
Well, if we just make a motion to change it, then we don't have to wait and we don't go back. We can just keep it at the discretion of the executive assistant if everybody agrees on that.
Suzanne?
Yeah, I hate to belabor this, but it's the job of the chairman to do the annual report of all boards in town. So if anything, if you want to leave it like this, I think it should be approved by and submitted by the chairman. It's the chairman's job. You've delegated it to Leanne, who undoubtedly would get stuck doing it anyway, but I don't know, John, over the years, have you put the annual report in from the budget?
We've never done an annual report.
Okay.
No, but Suzanne is correct. It's typically the chair that submits the report.
It's just a review.
I completely understand that. I don't know how it became executive assistant.
Well, it's between you two.
Yeah, I'll do it.
You'll do it.
should be the
Okay,
chair.
so then we don't need, with the executive assistant. Should just really formally
So
be
should
the
we just
chairman.
make a motion to change it back to by the chair or the designated agent?
No, it's the chairman's job.
It is. It's the chair's responsibility.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
I'm going to read from the unapproved August 18th, 2025 minutes. Section 5, version 8. I made the motion that we're talking about right now. An annual report shall be prepared describing the Budget Committee's activities for the fiscal year at the direction of the executive assistant. It passed 9-0. Can we get on with things, please?
That was the first one.
Good job. Okay, Leanne, can you read Bobby's motions and we vote on that, please?
From the minutes? From the previous set of minutes?
The motion that she just did.
Well,
Oh, Bobby's?
Bobby did, and that's what we have to deal with right now.
No one seconded my motion.
Okay. Anyone else have any motions to change that? Okay, let's move on. Next page, we don't have anything. We've talked about the order of business or agenda. Next page, we don't have any comments.
Are you on page 4 now or page 5?
I'm sorry, Bobby. I don't know if it's the building or not. I can't really understand to hear you. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So on page 4, we're now on section 6, conduct of meetings. Under section 4, it looks like legal counsel added another line there where it says public hearings on the recommended budget and warrant articles were added. And then there's also another comment under there under public hearings on the recommended budget and warrant articles.
What's the point?
They were added, yet we hadn't.
It's clarifying what the meetings are about. We are a budget committee. This is a budget hearing. He's making sure in the rules of conduct that it is a budget hearing.
I know,
and a
but
budget committee.
we haven't voted on that in the
Oh my God,
rules.
the end of the world is going to happen if we don't vote on it.
Okay, let's.
It may be disrespectful, but what she writes.
Okay, let's move on. Page 6, nothing. Next one is concerning
It's not added.
unable to attend, unable to be present. This is allowing or to allow remote participation. Pardon me, I'm sorry, I can't hear you. I'm on votes 3, number D.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Any comments about that? Any changes? Seeing none, we'll move on. Next page, no changes. And then the last page is no changes.
John, did we talk about the pages on, changes on page 5? Did I miss one?
What section, please?
Oh, that was the public comment. We already discussed that one. But there was, up in 8, it says the town manager or his or her authorized designee shall attend all budget committee meetings and provide support for, and this is just, again, cleaning it up by our attorney.
Okay, any other questions? Entertain a motion to submit this to the attorney for its final approval.
So moved.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, we'll move on. A roll call vote, please.
Brian DeShays,
Yes.
Suzanne Ryan,
Yes.
Bob Lohman.
Yes.
John McDonald,
Yes.
Brian Black,
Yes.
Tom Bell,
Yes.
Harold Packer, Bob Mulholland.
Yes.
Bobby Budman,
No.
and Justin Brown, remote.
Yes.
So 9-1-0 pass.
Okay, Mr. Lohman, could you give us a CIP report, please?
We had a meeting today, this morning at 9 o'clock, at which time we discussed the scoring of the proposed CIP projects for 2025 through 2035. There are basically no new items on the CIP report other than the fact that we have completed the scoring. The new spreadsheet is not out yet. It will be within a week or two, and we'll be able to comment further on the detail at that point.
So is that a fair assumption that we won't see any CIP recommendations for 2026?
No, there will be for 2026, or I believe, Jim, you may be able to correct me on this, I think the 6 for 2026 that will probably end up being warrant articles, is that correct?
It'll take me just a second to pull it up, but I don't believe there are, right now, I do not believe there are any bonds being contemplated for 2026.
Right.
Everything is straight warrant article for 2026. I believe our next bond at this point is not going to be considered until the very, very earliest 2028, from what I'm seeing right now, which would be the South Main sewer line, if that gets funded at the state level.
Thank you. Any other questions about CIP from anybody? No?
I concur.
Thank you, Suzanne. Okay, next section is department assigned member reports. Does anyone have anything to report from meeting with the departments? Ms. Budman?
Justin, do you want to go on the recreation meeting? Justin?
Justin Brown, are you there?
Yes, Bobby and I met with the staff at Pop Whalen, and they presented an initial review of their budget.
Yeah, anything to add?
I will add that, Brian over at the ice rink gave us a lot of time and explained to us what costs are coming up, and I'm sure we'll be presenting on that soon. However, the director and the assistant director moved on to a different meeting, so we did not get a full view of what is happening with the rest of the department, but we did get a good look at Pop Whalen and how it's moving forward with the enterprise fund. And it's, you know, I have to say, as someone who certainly has been working hard to make sure that our community utilizes our rink in a way to make it into an enterprise fund. It's really nice to have Brian in there working hard to try and get that enterprise fund up and running. We also discussed the $100,000 that is given as the rental income for the ice, that actually we are not utilizing that ice, we're just subsidizing the enterprise fund. So that is definitely something in discussion moving forward on that.
John, just for clarity, Brian Paul is the rink manager. Just so people don't get confused, Brian DeShays is the select board member. Brian Paul is our rink manager when she's speaking Brian at the rink.
Okay, thank you, Mr. DeShays. Any other reports?
Yes.
Go ahead, sir.
I had a brief meeting with Steve Randall in Public Works Department about what's going on with his budget. He sees no major additions to the budget. He will probably be presenting his budget as he has presented it for the last 2 years, which obviously both of them failed because of the default budget issue. But he will be presenting the same budget with some price increases on materials as they have occurred. And that's really all there is to it. There's no special new stuff that we need to be concerned about.
Thank you, Mr. Lohman. Anyone else? Okay, let's move on. 2025 financial report.
Hi, good evening. Sam Kelly, Finance Director. In your packet is the actual versus budget report for July, which is currently the most updated one that's been completed. This report goes over 7 months or 58% of the budget year for 2025. Through July, the general fund has expended 61% of their budget, water fund 67%, municipal electric fund 62%, sewer fund 72%, and the Pop Whalen was at 92% expended. On the revenue side of things, the general fund had collected 49% of their expected revenue, water fund 69%, electric fund 58%, sewer fund 53%, and Pop Whalen also 53%. The finance and IT departments for the town have currently 2 RFPs posted, one for our managed IT services. That bid does close this Thursday. We also have one out for our audit services, and that one is due next week on the 23rd. I'm currently working on putting together a 3rd RFP as our town's copier agreement does come due December 31st. So that'll be coming out hopefully sometime next week. Other than that, we're planning for the 2026 budget. The town manager and I have started our department head reviews, and those will continue this week.
Thank you. Are there any budgets that we should be paying particular attention to as far as how much money they have left?
The ones on our radar right now are IT, legal, planning, and as well as Pop Whalen.
Why is planning? What's the issues in planning?
Planning, we started off the year with not a lot of staff, so to do contracted services to get people in those positions is much more costly than if you have your own staff on hand. So that's the bulk of it.
Okay. Thank you very much. Any other questions?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
I'm a little concerned. The month ending July 31st, 2025 should be a 58% expended level. And I'm looking down here at the percentages, the actual percentages, and not one of them is at 58%. They're all either at 59, going all the way to 74%. That gives me a little bit of a concern about our expenditures.
A lot of expenditures are one-time annual, and they've already been paid. A lot of contracts are paid annually at the beginning of the year. So generally, the percentage is higher at the beginning of the year, and it starts to kind of taper off.
I'll do a little further investigation.
Sure.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions? Seeing none, let's move on to the town manager's report.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman. So as Sam mentioned, we are working through budgets at this point. To give you a really quick overview of the gross budget and then by department, or by fund, excuse me, as submitted by the department heads. So the entire budget, which would include the general fund, the water fund, the electric fund, the sewer fund, Pop Whalen fund, total increase across all of those budgets when you compare it to 2025's approved budget is $2,932,000, which is an 8.7% increase. To get into a little bit of detail about that, the water fund budget is currently estimated at $1,867,000. That's paid by user fees. The electric fund is $10,544,000. That's paid by the electric rate users. The sewer department, where the sewer department, the operational expenses of that department are paid for by the department, however, the capital is paid for by the town. Current department head requested budget is $2,006,000, and Pop Whalen current estimated budget of $494,000. The general fund budget right now, as submitted by department heads, is $21,687,000. One point that I would like to make about that is that does show a $2.6 million increase in that budget, but I'd like to remind us that we had a series of warrant articles for the ambulance and collective bargaining agreements. Those increased our budget right from the beginning by $761,000. So when you factor in that $761,000 on top of last year's budget, the budget is up 9.7% on the general fund, or $1.8 million. We are beginning to see debt service now that we've made first round of payments to the public safety building. We're beginning to see those reduce. So the bonding is going in the correct direction for us. I'm hopeful that we will have the budgets done and ready for the Board of Selectmen to begin their review beginning October the 1st. And we're hopeful to have that turned over to you, the Budget Committee, first week in November. So a lot of work going into this budget. We're trying to cut this thing down as much as we can. It's going to be a tough budget.
Question?
Yes, Paul.
Jim, the 8.7% you talked about, that's against the default budget, right?
That's against last year's approved budget. We haven't calculated the default yet.
No, against last year's default budget.
Yes, which is the approved budget of last year. That is correct.
So the 8.7% is not against the proposed budget. It's against the default budget that we ended up with.
That is correct.
Thank you. I just add a comment that for those of you who don't understand what that means is the default budget was about 6% less than what was presented. So what we're talking about here is an 8% increase on a budget that really didn't represent what was actually presented to the public and was rejected by the public at the deliberative session, or at the vote.
Mr. Bell?
Just a question. The increase is a result of the spending of warrant article money or not?
So the $761,000 that I mentioned, that is attributed to the 2 collective bargaining agreements that were approved last year by the voters, and the staffing associated with the approval for the ambulance service.
Right.
Those are the 2 big drivers in that $761,000.
The first of which is non-discretionary, the second of which was discretionary but voted by the voters for the ambulance service.
I would agree with that.
So it's, in a way, that 8% is not quite.
I understand. I understand.
It's money. It's real money.
I didn't divide things down into discretionary and non-discretionary.
Okay, any other questions?
Real quick.
Brian?
Jim, what debt service do we have coming up that's about to be mature or matured? I mean, what are we going to be paying off soon? Better words.
Yeah, it's going to take me just a second to pull that spreadsheet up. Got it, Sam? So looking at it really quickly, in 27, it looks like we had some work on Sewell and Friend Street. That will be the final payment of that. In 2028, we had some general projects in the amount of $4.7 million that will be paid off. We've got as well in 2029 or 28 will be last payment on some ADA bathrooms. 2028 will be a parks land purchase, final payment. 2028 would be sidewalk Pickering, final payment. Downtown upgrades, final payment. Those look like the ones that are falling off on the general fund over the next couple of years.
All right.
And this document will be, it'll be incorporated into the CIP documents so that you'll be able to see it, and we'll put it in as well with your budget books.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, seeing none, we'll move on to the chair's comments. Just a couple of things. As we start moving through the budget, it's important to remember that this committee isn't a Republican or Democrat committee or independent. It's a committee of citizens that are working together to come together with a budget that the people of Wolfeboro support. I've seen some things on postings on Facebook, which I appreciate people letting us know, getting the word out, but all I ask is if those postings are going to be posted, that they contain correct information. We all need to work together to get this budget through, and hopefully we can do a little bit better on the presentation. I don't think a lot of people understand the different funds that we set up that are paid by the users, and that all rolls into the budget itself. There was also some statements in the paper, I think, last time that we had the same budget as Laconia, same budget as Guilford, and a couple other communities. I'm in the process of contacting those town managers and city managers to find out exactly what their operating budget is, because there's no way our operating budget comes close to what the city of Laconia is. Those are all the comments that I have. Again, I can stress enough that we've got to work together and do what's best for the community. Thank you. Yes, Mr. Bell.
As a point of clarification, the electric department revenues are shown as an operating budget item and bump us up? Is that
right? The electric department, water and sewer, and what is it, Pop Whalen also, Jim? Yep. Those we have to pay for up front, and we take in revenue that covers those expenses.
so that when all is said and done, our budgets really are less, the operating budget is less than that?
Right, you should be, right, correct. You should be subtracting those revenues that we have to pay up front that we recoup down the road from that budget itself.
Which I think is a fundamental, not misunderstanding, but the public may not be totally aware of that.
Yeah, I agree, and I think we've got to work to make that point possible and understandable by everybody. Anyone else?
I have a question.
Yes.
I asked you this question at the last meeting, and you gave me an answer, but we have general government. I think it's you and me.
Yeah.
And is it more expedient for the three of us to meet at once rather than separately?
Yeah, we can talk about.
Can we do that?
We can talk about that. Yeah.
You said whenever I want to go, just go and meet. But
Yeah.
I would like to hear the questions that you ask and then the responses. Does that work for?
Sure, we can set up a time to meet and go to the different department heads. I've just been trying to give them a little breathing room to focus on the 2026 budget to get that put together.
That'd be helpful.
Okay, very good. Thank you for your comments. Anybody else?
Yeah, John.
Thank you.
Mr. DeShays?
So I want to kind of reiterate what some have said. You have to be careful with what is being said on social media. Social media has its place, but there is some misinformation that does end up on social media. I implore anybody, if they have a question, to go to the town and go to the department that you think that question is related to and try and find out the answer for yourself. If you can't, I'm definitely don't have an answer for everything, but I'm pretty good at finding answers. So I tell people, come to me and I will always open for conversations to find the answers for questions that you may have. And I'll learn at the same time because I don't know everything that happens in town every day. And we, as a town, and I think Jim can attest to this, we're financially very strong. Our rating is as good or better than the state of New Hampshire bond bank. We're in good shape financially as a town. Can we be better? You can always do better. But the budget committee does a good job watching the budget, and so does the select board, and so does the town manager. And if you have questions, just come ask us.
Thank you, Mr. DeShays. Any other comments? Mr. Bugman?
I'm wondering if there is a way that we can have a presentation on the reevaluation, because I know a lot of citizens in town don't understand it. Some don't understand why their reevaluation went up, 2.5% or 2.25%. So it would be great if we had sort of the big picture of how the town was reevaluated so we can help the citizens with this and have the knowledge.
Thank you. Mr. Pino, do you have anything scheduled for any thoughts on that with the assessor?
excuse me. So the assessor was in front of the Board of Selectmen at, I believe, the last meeting. I do believe that once all of the values are complete and approved by New Hampshire DRA, I can ask Mr. Hagan to please come back.
Mike's gone.
Thank you. Bobby, does that answer your question? You all set? Okay. Okay, let's move on to any other business. Seeing none, we'll move on to the approval of the minutes for August 18th, 2025. Anybody have any changes they'd like to make? Mrs. Budman?
I don't have any changes. I actually think the minutes were quite fabulous. I just wanted to put out a shout to Leanne because these were complicated minutes, and being able to go through and do the minutes and just be able to get all these numbers in there and everything everybody said. Kudos to you, Leanne. So very grateful. Thank you.
Here, here, I was just about to say the same thing. Very good.
Yeah, Leanne always does an excellent job with the minutes. Any motions concerning these minutes? Motion to approve is written.
Motion to approve.
And a second?
Second.
Seconded by Mr. Bell. And Leanne, could we do a roll call vote, please?
Brian DeShays.
Yes.
Susie O'Brien.
Yes.
Bob Lohman.
Yes.
John McDonald.
Yes.
Brian Black.
Yep.
Tom Bell.
Yes.
Harold Parker.
Staying.
Bob Mulholland.
Yes.
And Bobby Bubman.
Yes.
And Justin Brown remote.
Yes.
Okay, so it'll be 9-0. No. Yes. 1. 9-0-1. Pass.
Motion passes. And now we're down to public comment. Any comments from the public?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Can everyone hear me okay? Charlene Seibel from Wolfeboro. First of all, I want to thank each and every member of the board in attendance, including the disembodied Mr. Brown. I want to thank you all for your on-the-record public assurance that your new change in rules and procedures regarding public input will in no way be used to cut off public input from the citizenry. There was much discussion, a multiple number of amendments and amendments to amendments, but every one of you, to my understanding, is on the record that it is not your intent to infringe upon the First Amendment rights of the people who elected you, and I want to extend my gratitude to each and every one of you for that. My second point is Mr. Brown has given us a teachable moment regarding 91A, so I would like to make sure that this committee adheres to that. I know we have a current state representative, a former state representative, and so I know that you all appreciate and respect that 91A in the state of New Hampshire is a big deal. First of all, I would like to point out that a member may attend a meeting remotely only if their physical attendance is, quote, not reasonably practical, unquote. The reason must be stated in the meeting minutes. And so that's just a reminder for you, Leanne, to make sure that you state Mr. Brown's absence, the reason for his absence in the minutes. Also, specific rules. A majority of the body must approve the request for remote participation. And so I would like to know if the majority of the Budget Committee approved that request by vote or by consensus or by email, and if so, when did that take place?
No, I said it was okay.
I think I can reasonably assume that you did not do that,
No.
which is a violation of 91A.
Thank you.
Another point I would like to make, The meeting must be audible or otherwise discernible to the public attending at the physical location. All members, remote and in person, must be able to see and hear each other simultaneously throughout the meeting. I did not see Mr. Brown. Is Mr. Brown on video with you, Timothy? But he hasn't been visible for this meeting, correct? I'll take that as a no. Also, I just want to point out that another requirement of 91A for remote participation is that a remote member must identify any other people present at their remote location. I did not hear Mr. Brown do so. And so I just wanted to offer this information. It's easily verifiable if any of you want to Google RSA, New Hampshire RSA 91A : et cetera, et cetera. So in the future, I would just respectfully request that this committee follow 91A. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Seibel. Anyone else?
Hi, Ann Blodgett. I just want to remind the committee that people do watch on television. If they're not present in the room, please don't discount participation. Some people aren't able to make it. Some people aren't as dedicated as you are, and some people are on other boards and therefore can't be out every single night of the week. So if people aren't in the room, I know that I have been to these meetings, and I do watch from home a lot. So please don't forget that. Thanks.
Thank you, Mrs. Blodgett. Anyone else?
Hi, Karen Burnett-Curie, Wolfeboro. I think all of us can agree that perception is important. We would like to think that everything is based only on what is, written down or actually happened. But perception is important. And while you have determined that you're willing to open up discussion for all that attend who want to give testimony, the fact that you've set a limit, a time limit, when you've never previously had written rules, as I understand it, and if I'm incorrect, correct me, but it's my understanding that your first time having rules, you decided to have written rules that set a time limit. Now, if I understood the testimony or the statement made by the representative on the committee who's not here, Brown, he said it was so that you had some control over the time of the agenda. Well, I don't see a time limit placed on every agenda item. So I don't understand why the public input is singled out for a time reference point when other agenda items are not. And I think that in perception, it's now written down, and while you may say that it isn't going to affect what happens, the people who are not here to have heard you say that are not going to know that. And so I think it's a mistake to suggest that what you tell us overrides people's understanding based on what's written down. So that's my first comment. My second comment is that if I come here and I speak, and then after I speak, I'm not allowed to speak again until the public comment session comes up at the end. So if remarks are made about something I've said or something somebody else has said by members of the committee, I can't respond to it until the very end. Now, I may have misunderstood what they said, but I can tell you that there were a couple comments that were made that I took personally. For example, if you're genuinely concerned, well, how is it that I'm being judged on how much concern I have when I come to the meeting? There's a certain angle to that comment that suggests that I'm only here because somebody twisted my arm and I'm only interested in one topic. And that's not true. I'm genuinely concerned. I can't be at all the meetings. I watch them on TV. I am an informed citizen. I cannot be expected to be at every meeting, and to tell you the truth, I wouldn't necessarily want to be at them. The tension in this room is palpable. Some of the disrespect of committee members to other committee members is distressing. I have enough stress in my life. I don't need to listen to my representatives beleaguer or belittle or disrespect each other. And that's what, in fact, I believe happened here. I also believe that there was some disrespect of the people who came, okay? And to suggest that we came and made something into a tempest in a teapot is not a constructive comment. I'm not here to make a tempest in a teapot. I'm here to express sincere concern that I want my budget to pass. And for that to happen, something has to change. And I don't see that change coming from the attitudes projected by the people here. I'm not talking about the words necessarily where you say you want to hear from me. I'm talking about the words where you say things that tell me you don't want to hear from me. I want to know that decisions that are made by this committee are actually made in ways that make sense. So there's a disagreement between what was in the rules and regulations. There's comments made about what's in the last minutes. There's an understanding between one person sitting here that it's not their responsibility to produce the annual report, and a comment by the chair that he understands it is, and what was the resolution of that? I don't get it. I sat through the whole discussion, and as far as I can tell, it still says executive assistant because that's what it said the last time around, even though the chairperson acknowledges their responsibility, the committee member clearly stated it was, and the executive assistant did. So what does that outcome say to me as a member, as a citizen watching my board function? It appears that you guys didn't want to do rules and regulations. That's the outcome I get. The impatience with it was palpable. So why is it that you didn't want to do rules and regulations? Because you haven't had to do them before? Because they're cumbersome or bothersome? I don't know. But it was obvious that you didn't want to do it. And yet, for me as a citizen, it's helpful. I know how you're operating. It's clear, it's written down, and I now know that you want to only tolerate us for 15 minutes, regardless of what you say. All right? And my last comment would be that you can say to ask questions. I have asked innumerable questions of our town manager, of our state representative, of committee members, of chairpersons of committees, and I've not gotten answers. So I do not think that the burden belongs to the people in asking and getting answers to questions. The burden belongs to the people who know the answers to the questions. I have also been reprimanded for whom I asked my questions of, even though I thought I was asking of the appropriate person. So you have got to take some responsibility for a dynamic that I think some of you blame on the citizens. You think we misunderstand. We think we're misinformed. You think we believe stuff on social media that's not true. The reality is, a lot of us are struggling really hard to be good citizens and good participants in the process. And we are not given answers, we're not given correct answers, we're not we're reprimanded if we ask the wrong person the question. I mean, there's just innumerable problems that say it's not all us. We are not the problem alone. And unless we get more people on the other side in town government and on our boards working with us, we will continue to have this stress and tension and ineffectual governance from our and your point of view. There has to be a way of bridging the gap.
Thank you, ma'am. Anyone else?
I have to lower this. My name is Gail Johnson. Can you hear me? Great.
Yes, thank you.
Two comments. One, thank you for the amount of effort that you put into this. My husband served for a number of years. It's a lot of work. And it's hard to communicate how much you give to the citizenry. But I also would love to come back. And because I don't know your names that go with the faces, so I would love for you to have name tags in front of you. That would help not only those of us that are here, but those of us that watch on TV. It's pretty simple. I'd be happy to make them if you tell me who they go to. So thank you for your effort. I personally did not feel one tiny bit offended tonight by anything that happened here. And so I want to thank you. I think it's good to have hard discussion. Some of the things that you had to deal with, you've been seeing more than we have, and you wanted to get the job done. I wasn't offended by any of that. I'm glad that we can come and support you and ask questions. Would it be helpful if we sent in questions ahead of time in a written format for you to ponder before we actually arrive?
I think you have to look at the agenda to see what budgets we were going to discuss each week.
Well, that would be our job, probably,
Yeah.
to see what you're up to.
Yeah.
And not bring in stuff that doesn't have anything to do with what you're talking about that night.
Yeah.
But if that would be helpful, then that's something we could consider as citizens. But thank you for everything that you've done here tonight. It's good to ask questions. It's good to see people questioned. And thank you for your responses. I'd like to leave on a positive note. I don't know who's after me, if anybody will be, but thank you for what you're doing.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson. Anyone else like to talk?
This is a question for the town management, public town manager. So last year we had a default budget, and my question is, what did we as a town government, do to deal with the reduction from the projected proposed budget to what we ended up with, which was the default budget? So we were minus X amount of dollars. What did we do as a governing body to curtail some expenditures and so on to meet that? And that's the question for next meeting. I don't need to hear anything now. Just something to give everybody some thought processes. How did we accomplish that shortfall? What did we do to manage that shortfall? And can we apply those same principles to the budget going forward this year? So that's it for me. Thank you all. You do a great job. It's a hard job, thankless job.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson. Anyone else?
Carol McMahon, I live in Wolfeboro. I just have a question. Where can I go online to view this CIP summary that was referenced by this gentleman?
The town website has a section that devotes itself to the whole CIP process. I would suggest that you go there.
And that will have the one you said is for 2026, the one that you all are working on now?
Yes.
It'll have all those figures
The
for each project?
spreadsheet is not published as yet.
But it will be.
And I think the town manager can maybe talk to that. We talked about it today at the meeting. I don't know when it's going to get posted on the website.
The CIP committee has a draft version right now. I took direction from them this morning. I'm going back based on the direction that I received, making those adjustments. We'll begin working on the draft narrative and the adjustments to the financial spreadsheets. Those documents at this point are not on the town webpage, and they will not be until it becomes final document. There is the preliminary report on the town webpage under Board's Capital Improvement Plan Committee. I believe it's a 175-page document that lays out everything from the proposed projects over the next 10 years and the proposed financials. It's all there. So there's more work to be done. You won't see the final documents for a little while, and when the final documents are done, there will be a presentation to the planning board, the select board, and to this committee.
Mr. Chairman?
Mr. Bell?
Yeah. Also, in our packets today that we got, there's August 18th and August 25th approved minutes for the Capital Improvements Program Committee and draft minutes for their meeting of the 4th of September. So, Bob, those are probably online as well?
All the minutes to date are online, and the September 4th minutes were also approved today, and I've already posted the approved minutes online for the September 4th. So September 4th. Oh.
That are being approved for the coming year. I thought that's what he was talking about.
Yeah, that's what I was talking
So
about.
I was not talking about minutes.
Okay,
I'm talking
those are
about
online
the
as well.
Summary of the projects. He said it's not available.
The summary is not, but the project forms
The preliminary one, ma'am, is available, not the final.
John.
Yes, Mrs. Ryan?
Mr. Pinio, you might like to inform the public that your staff is working on a new computer system, and it's going to be hopefully easier for the public as well to tune in to the town website.
Yes, so there is a new town website scheduled to launch. I think it's the 26th of September. We're in the final stages now of doing that conversion. It will be much more friendly to utilize on your phone. The platform that we have now is, I want to say, 12 or 14 years old, and it's not user-friendly for portable devices. So expect to see that coming out in the next couple of weeks.
John. I wanted to touch on something that Suzanne was saying. We do have two types of meetings in town. We have scheduled meetings where a board is working on projects, and we have public input from the public twice during those meetings. We have public hearings, which are dedicated to the citizens wholly, and they get to come and voice their opinions, unlimited amount of time, ask questions, and we answer for very specific things that happen in town, like rebuilding of a large roadway or something like that. That being said, what we're supposed to do at a regular meeting is listen to public input, take it under advisement, and then work on it as a board. What we do sometimes is we answer questions, which goes above and beyond and pushes us almost into a public hearing type of situation. So we do answer questions even when it's really not what we should be doing in a general meeting at that time. And it's another way that I think that the boards and the committees do reach back to citizens. We do it. We try to.
Anyone else? Okay, any more public comment? Okay, just want to go back to policies and procedures. Jim, in particular, could you have the town attorney review 3 votes, number D. Apparently, this has gone through by him saying that it's acceptable to have the chairperson at their discretion make that decision to hold the meeting to allow remote access.
Would you speak up and a little closer to your mic? I can't hear you.
I'm sorry. I didn't hear you either, Bobby. This is the worst place to have a meeting.
I said, would you speak up, please, Chair?
Thank you. Just have him review that because I'm not sure what Mrs. Seibel said. I just want to make sure that complies with what she stated, that we're in compliance with 91A. I'm sorry? Paula,
Hi. I think the question I heard about, and maybe it's not what you were looking for. If somebody's absent from a meeting, you have to announce it. If somebody's absent from a meeting, they have to state that whoever's in the room with them.
Right.
Okay. And then this board or any board has to say it's okay that that person's absent and there's a bona fide reason for them being missing. Is that the question you were asking, Charlene, or comment you were making?
Thank you for the opportunity to respond. I was not asking a question.
Yeah.
I was educating this committee on 91A and the specific requirements.
Okay. We learned that lesson during COVID when the select board did. We all had to go home, and we all had to make it a point that we were remote. There was nobody in the room with us. We all kind of agreed to do it, and that is a requirement of 91A. Is that's a procedure you're going to follow. Okay.
Correct.
All right. Brian, if I could, Brian made a comment about the distinction between public input and a public hearing. And I think it's important, at least from yeah, thank you. But I think it's important, at least from my point of view, and I could be dead nuts wrong. Consistent with 91A, if we have public input and then we start having a conversation with you, somebody at home legitimately could say, hey, wait a second, I didn't know you were having a public hearing. You denied me the right to speak. That's why there's a difference between public input and a public hearing. As Brian has commented, and again, I can't comment about this board, what we try to do is, when we sit at this table on Wednesday nights, we do try to, as much as we possibly can, get public hearings going on critical topics, and then we try to make sure that we don't wander off the topic because it can get screwy. But I just want to make sure that I'm not here to throw an at a person at this board. I've served in boards now for a lot of years at this town, and I've never seen a conscious effort to stop, stifle, eliminate, reduce speech. I have seen an effort that we may have if somebody comes to the microphone, and not at this board, but in our board, comes to the microphone and wants to have a personal or a personnel conversation about somebody, which we have had once or twice, and we kind of help that not happen because it's out of bounds. But anyways, there is a difference between public input and there is a difference between public hearing. Public input is your opportunity to come in and make a statement, and at least for us, we sit there and acknowledge what you've said. A public hearing is we have a dialogue with you, and we want to keep those two things, at least where I sit, kind of separated. The last thing I'll offer for Mr. McDonald, I've heard the same thing that you heard, that our budget is about the size of Laconia or Guilford or some other place. I think what people tend to do is they look at the gross numbers on the appropriation side, And Laconia doesn't have its own municipal electric company. That's about a $10 million right off the top. And neither does Guilford. They're served by those Source people. So if you're going to do an apples to bananas kind of comparison, you got to first of all eliminate MED. And I also don't think that one of them has a water department. I think it's a different way in which they configure it. Okay. Anyways, I personally found the meeting tonight to be interesting, and I mean that seriously. I thought it was good. To your point, whomever made it, you got it all out. It's all out, and you had a chance to say what you needed to say, and I think that was healthy. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Bryan. Anything else from anybody? Okay, motion to adjourn.
So moved.
A second?
Second.
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you, everyone, for coming.